here at home, we do have a wind advisory. I want to show you our current wind gusts. So along the coast, that wind advisory is for the coast and our inland spots. We're seeing Oceanside already gusting over 30 miles an hour, Carlsbad over 20 miles an hour. So even with the rain that we got, fire danger is still top of mind here in San Diego County, because throughout the day, we're going to be dealing with these strong wind gusts. That wind advisory expires at 5 p.m., but even after that, we're still going to be pretty gusty at times. Not only have we been gusty, but we're also pretty dry. Our relative humidity dropping down to single digits. I'll tell you more about that coming up in our full weather forecast. For now, back to you.
Thank you so much, Mel. And you just heard Mel say we are expecting more windy conditions that in some places could look like this. Powerful wind near Jacumba. That hiker nearly blown away. Fortunately, that did not happen. He's okay. Those are the conditions that fire crews will be keeping an eye on. They say the rainy weekend wasn't enough to reduce the fire danger. What's more, the National Weather Service is predicting we may go long stretches without rain this season as we move into a dry La Nina winter. Conditions that could keep firefighters on high alert for weeks on end.
It also means a delay in the start of our winter. So we could be in for a very long fall period where we mostly see dry conditions. And what that means for us is fire danger continuing well into the fall and perhaps the early winter.
SDG&E has told more than 21,000 customers in the North County to be prepared for rolling blackouts. We will continue to monitor that and we'll let you know if there are any changes. For a real-time look at the forecast in your neighborhood, be sure to download our free ABC 10 News smartphone app. Jim?
Now, Virginia, right now, the final proceedings underway before an expected vote in the Senate to confirm Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court. She'll fill the vacancy left by the passing of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg just weeks after her death and a week before the election. Now, Barrett's confirmation would give conservatives a 6-3 majority on the high court. We're going to continue to keep an eye on Capitol Hill for updates, and you can follow the proceedings live on 10news.com or on our app on your favorite streaming device. Well, an effort to solve the city's homeless crisis took an ambitious step forward today, setting a goal of reducing the population of people on the streets by 50% over the next 3 years. 10 News anchor Mary McKenzie explains the new coordinated street outreach program proposed today.
I was able to break down certain barriers and walls that people were going through. And I tried my best to understand what was going on with their situation. And I removed those walls. I removed the barriers and I opened up doors. And one particular door that they went through is a place that they call home.
PATH Outreach Specialist Jesse Angelis Jr., along with the couple he helped, explained the challenges faced getting people off the streets. City leaders, including members of the San Diego Housing Commission, outlined the new approach they're proposing to the full city council, which they believe would address gaps in the existing system. It would consist of 2 parts, a rapid response team and a mobile homelessness response team. The first would focus on areas where there are concentrations of people experiencing homelessness, providing immediate intervention to try to meet basic and urgent needs. The second part, the mobile homelessness response team, would involve case managers who could prioritize the most vulnerable individuals and put them in touch with housing resources and other services. PATH would operate the program through a contract with the San Diego Housing Commission on behalf of the city. Right now, PATH is a pilot program with 2 people working with the homeless in Mid-City. They want to expand it citywide to 18 people, mainly social workers, as so many people who are homeless are wary of police. City Council President Georgette Gomez said today that the goal, which is big, is to reduce the number of people who are unsheltered by 50% in 3 years. $1.5 million from the city budget would be allocated to support the program, which will be presented to the City Council tomorrow. Mary McKenzie, ABC 10 News.
The judge is deciding whether to place another sexually violent predator in the East County. ABC 10 News reporter Marie Cornell has more on that decision and the neighbors who are fighting it.
Joseph Bauchlet is a convicted repeat sex offender. He had a placement hearing today, and because of COVID-19 restrictions, his hearing was held virtually. We were not allowed to record this hearing, but we did monitor what was happening inside of the courtroom. The Department of State Hospitals wants to put 75-year-old Joseph Bartlett in a home in Jacumba after a judge denied the proposal to move him into a home in Palma Valley. Bartlett has been convicted 3 different times of molesting children younger than 10 years old. Though the public wasn't allowed to physically be inside of the courtroom, they've been working to make sure their voices are heard, protesting this recommendation. They've got pages of signatures from residents in the East County, and a few of them gathered near the courthouse holding signs expressing their concerns about the possibility of another sex offender being placed in their community. Among that group, Melissa and her daughter. Melissa says rural East County shouldn't always be the first choice when it comes to placing sexually violent predators.
It takes this to get someone's eyes to open up, a council member, a judge, a mayor, before they say, oh, okay, well, yes, that's far out, but that doesn't mean that it's not impacting the community.
The judge says he will review the letters that were submitted and the testimony that was given during this hearing before he makes his final decision. Reporting from downtown, Marie Cornell, ABC 10 News.
Your voice, your vote. We are in the final stretch before Election Day. Just 8 days left to campaigning. Despite the number of people who've already voted, the Registrar of Voters Office is preparing for a big turnout next Tuesday. Registrar Michael Vu says with more than 1 million ballots still out, it's important that people vote as early as possible. And with the pandemic, of course, you really want to avoid standing in line.
So we really want to say that there's a sense of urgency now because we are really only approximately 10 days, less than 10 days away from the election. So voters who have their mail ballots, turn it in early. Again, there is a pandemic that is out there.
126 ballot drop-off locations are still open across San Diego, and this coming Saturday, in-person voting begins at 235 super polling locations. If you are not registered, you can still do so in person through Election Day, and you'll have to vote provisionally. Virginia?
Thank you, Jim. Both campaigns making their final pitch to voters, although many have already made up their minds. Tens of millions of ballots have already been filled out in what could be a record year for voter turnout. ABC's Rena Roy has the details.
Nearly 60 million Americans have cast their ballots early, already exceeding the total for all of early voting in 2016, with still 8 days to go until Election Day.
I have family members that never cared about politics. In their entire lives, they are voting.
In one of the most contentious elections in U.S. history, both candidates giving it their all in the home stretch.
Thank you, Ohio. Go out and vote. Pennsylvania matters. So please vote.
The president hitting battleground states, continuing to downplay the severity of the coronavirus pandemic, though daily case numbers are hitting record highs, according to the COVID tracking project.
We're rounding the turn. We're doing great. Our numbers are incredible.
Still defending his mostly maskless rallies in a heated interview on 60 Minutes.
I tell people to wear masks. Don't. Leslie, we hand out thousands of masks.
But you look out and they're not wearing them. You don't get up there and say, look, come on. I don't want you to get sick.
What's your next question, Leslie?
He then abruptly ended the interview.
I think we have enough of an interview here, Hope. Okay, that's enough. Let's go.
Meantime, Biden, who's up in the polls, was in the key state of Pennsylvania over the weekend.
It may come down to Pennsylvania. And I believe in you. I believe in my state.
Trump is planning to visit nearly a dozen states in this last week ahead of Election Day. Joe Biden also ramping up his campaigning with plans to visit 6 key battleground states in the coming days. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.